Hey everybody, we're back with our Friday tea tastings, and this time we have one of the very unique teas, and that is courtesy to Het Zuyderblad. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure I'm doing
Sorry
it
if
wrong.
we butchered the pronunciation.
But Het Zuyderblad, that's the first tea plantation in Netherlands. And Zidan is pretty much prepared with the Netherlands jersey right there. But thanks to Alicia, who worked in the farm around 2022, and she was the one who actually sent the samples to us. And I've tasted a little bit on the samples, but we've not had an extensive tasting on it. So though it's a 2022 sample, we'll try to go ahead and brew this up. So let's just start brewing that up. I'll just give you a quick 2-minute idea of, essentially the farm that is Het Zuyderblad. And so the founder is Linda. She actually inherited a farm which had, a lot of chickens, cattle, pig, and all of that stuff. And she was not necessarily interested in the farm, apparently. And this is all on her website. But she was really, she was into graphics and designs and all of that stuff. And it was only when her accountant actually told her, what do you want to do with the farm, that she was actively starting to think about what really to do about this farm. And interestingly enough, she has always been drinking tea. And when she was off in China, she kind of got really immersed into the culture and the tradition and the rituals of tea itself, and really got fascinated. And I think the most interesting part of that story that I got was she got this idea of actually I was starting a tea plantation was when she was in Hong Kong airport escalator.
Oh wow.
That was when she was just coming back. So she got this idea of like, you know what, I have this farm, I'm always thinking about what to do with it. And I love tea so much, there's so much history and passion and tradition behind tea. I'm just gonna start a tea plantation.
So her idea basically escalated on the escalator.
Absolutely. So that's amazing, Linda. We're so proud and honored to actually try some of these teas. Kudos to you on what you've achieved. And today it's the first, and I don't know if it's the only, but it's the first tea plantation in Netherlands.
Oh wow.
And then are they particularly doing it in like greenhouses, or are they doing it, they have like a full-fledged plantation?
I think they have a full-fledged plantation, though they have a website which we'll share in the link. It's
Het Zuyderblad.
They have an Instagram as well. They have amazing, they do wine tasting, tea tasting, tourism, all of that stuff. But they have a pretty full-fledged tea plantation and also do some nurseries within greenhouses. So it's actually very interesting, and she's traveled all across and specifically went to India for the Tokla Institute to actually do some research, and she really got first-hand knowledge from these research institute about starting the plantation. So should be pretty good. And Alicia, this is amazing. We're finally tasting all of your teas that you made yourself, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Because the only reason that I asked about the greenhouse was Netherlands in particular, it's very cold out here, right? And then for tea, it has to be like subtropical, rainfall here and there, and then that is the only reason that I asked. And then I don't think there are like any commercial plantations in Netherlands.
I don't think so.
Oh really?
But Netherlands itself is very unique and interestingly very important in the history of tea. Do you want to just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. It's in the 16th century, right, guys? That is the first commercial shipment of tea actually happened from China by Dutch missionaries in Netherlands. So Dutch really play a vital role in kind of establishing all of the trade routes that kind of connects Asia with Europe as well. And it was around that 17th, 18th century is when like the Dutch actually kind of made it very popular out in Western Europe as well, because tea was very expensive at that time, right? People were paying silver to buy teas from China. So it was only affordable by very wealthy, and then I think monarch like the British monarch, as well as I think Dutch was a monarch as well, right?
Right.
Does anybody know the history?
Yeah, I think so.
Dutch was a monarchy as well?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah, so the wealthy individuals were drinking tea back then, and then Dutch were the first one to actually establish all of the trade routes, bring in the commercial shipments and everything. And then I think it was later when I think this was around 19th century when like the Dutch East India Company kind of was mismanaged and everything, and then they lost it to a British East India Company, and then that is how British come into the picture, and then the plantations actually start out in India and everything. So that is like a general history, and then that is why it plays a vital role when it comes to the tea industry.
Right. And also while learning about teas, I watched Nish's video and he explained different grades of teas, SFT, GOP, and all those. And the orange pico, the name orange actually is not associated with the color of the tea or something like that. It's actually Dutch House of Orange representation or something like that. Right?
Yeah. It's kind of like it was pretty much thought of as kind of like grade system that they wanted the best teas, and then it was the color was always orange, and so that was also one of the reasons that they say.
Yeah. So today what we have in here is we have two different black teas, fully oxidized two different black teas, and then it says that it's a first flush, so I believe they made like a oxidized black tea out of like the first plucking of the year. Don't really know, but it says first flush, and then we do have like two different green teas. I can already smell that marine flavor already in the green tea. So let's start from here.
All right.
I think Netherlands is like super famous for stroopwafel.
What is it? What is it?
I think it's one of their national dishes, stroopwafel. So when you get a chance, try that. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very famous Dutch delicacy. And the other things Netherlands is known for is actually football. Since I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm very tightly associated with Netherlands in a way that our coach is a Dutch coach right now, our Nishchal. And our captain is a Dutch player as well, Virgil van Dijk.
Oh yeah.
And I know about Netherlands through Max Verstappen, who is the Formula 1 champion. So
all of the sports references that you can give, absolutely.
Also, they are very famous for daffodil, I guess.
What is
and
windmills?
Plant. The plants.
Oh,
the flowers.
daffodil. Okay.
Yeah, but excited to taste the Dutch teas as well.
Yeah.
My brother actually went to a school called Daffodil.
No, there's a school
there's
called
a school
that.
in Nepal.
Anyways, so yeah, interestingly, even though it is 2022 teas, we have not necessarily opened this, and just the green teas, it's super fragrant still. It's really, I mean, it's very well preserved, but at the same time, look at all of the leaves. It's very much just the first two leaves and very fine plucking. As you can see, it's all there, but there's really nice sweet, a little bit of the sweet and a slightly grassy notes to it, especially on that first one. I don't know how they're different. Everything is in Dutch, so we probably can't pronounce that easily, but yeah, this particular batch is better.
So this is May, June
aromatic.
2022. What does it say?
Same thing.
Same thing.
This
Okay, let's try it.
Yeah, this one is the first one is actually a lot fragrant than the second one, especially on the dry aroma. This sounds quite marine on the nose.
Oh wow!
Leaves are pretty good. This is very fine plucking, and at the same time, really nicely unoxidized, very smooth, and also very consistent. So this is really good. Yeah, again, this one particularly has a little less fragrance. I don't know if there's anything that suggests these are two different types. I can read.
Yeah, it's everything is written over here in Dutch.
Yeah,
so maybe.
Okay. This one just feels a little different. It's a little light in color, but it could very well be the same exact tea, but processed in different dates. It just has the month, so it could just be those different dates. But it's actually gorgeous.
Like the
Yeah. It's
That's
really good.
there's that
Smelling.
sweetness of of fruit kind of sweetness. In
Yeah,
it.
it reminds me of our Ganesha green actually, to an extent. It's very much of that buttery sweetness that's already there. And in the wet leaves, there's a lot of that kind of marine seaweedy notes, which is great for green teas anyways. So just go ahead and taste it.
A little bit nuttiness in this as well.
It's nice, lacks a little bit of depth and body, but at the same time, easy drinking green tea. And there's very little astringency.
Right.
What temperature did we brew this in?
It was 200 when I
Oh,
brewed
200,
it.
okay.
Yes.
So yeah, probably makes sense because we put it through.
It did hold though, right?
It definitely holds. So basically, when you brew this at about 170, 180, it should really give you really those nice buttery, sweet notes, along with some of those greenish notes.
But it's very light bodied
Very
and it goes down almost like hot water, but with green tea characters. I feel like
A little bit of there's that nuts like almonds and everything, right?
Right,
There's
right.
that nutty flavor on both of these, and then the seaweed kind of flavor. It's very significant on like the leaves,
And
not
it's-
so much
yeah,
in the liquor.
cup. And it could very well also be that this is already 2 years old
Yeah,
tea.
2 years
so
old tea.
I think it says something THT December 2024. So it could very well be that date that they would want us to try this tea
Yeah.
anyways.
So we are
But
a bit
late. We're sorry, but at the same time, still after 2 years, it holds the fragrance just a little light on the body, but at the same time, it's great. And that also, we will talk about this probably in the next whatever session we do. Teas, if they're stored properly, really do not expire. Like
Yeah.
it will not become harmful for you to drink. It might lose flavor unless there's like specific molds or all of these things that you can visually see. It's not gonna expire. I've drank teas that are 8 years old, whatever.
We've actually found a tea that was in our aunt's basement for about I think 8-9 years. We found the tea and then we actually sent it to some of our friends. Nobody could actually recognize that it was a tea 8 years old.
Oh my god.
It's-
So interesting.
This is one of the. It's has that
Almost alcohol-y,
malty character, but at the same time a lot of sweetness followed with it.
I can also smell
the
something,
fragrance in the
something associated
Yeah.
with sourness.
the dryness is not
Sourness,
The dry leaf doesn't have much fragrance, but man, the wet leaves,
right? What would you associate the sweetness with?
This one particularly, it might not be the best analogy, and some people might not like it. But do you know the smell that comes when you drop, kind of in a bar or whatever, you drop beer and you smell it next day? A little bit of that
Okay.
fermentation, sweet fermentation kind of stuff. Stale beer in a way,
Still beer.
Okay.
but it's with a little more.
Sweetness. There's a lot of sweetness in
There's
this.
nice little florals in there as well.
You know what?
I love it. Actually.
You guys know chaku?
Oh
Molasses?
yeah, so molasses. There's a lot of that. There's some sweetness.
Like
behind it.
molasses is if you rub it in somewhere in like your body and you smell it,
Okay, I've never done that, but
or like when it gets
oh,
stuck
okay,
here, right?
okay, all right.
Oh man, the sweetness in this cup. It's still
And drink it. It's crazy. It's
For
actually
some
really
reason,
amazing.
I smell like lopsy,
Okay. That would be gooseberries.
gooseberries almost.
No, lapsi is hot plum.
Oh, okay. Oh, gooseberries just kere omelette. Yeah.
Somehow I'm associating it with like some titaura, like.
This is
Funny.
like a. This one is like a black tea woody character.
I
to it and
love
everything.
this. I
This one
really
has a
love this.
very good sweetness to it.
What I was referring to a little bit more is like fermentation and kind of like when you I've had this tea from Portugal, which is aged in wine barrel.
Uh-huh.
So you really get a lot of that fermentation, a lot of that wine sweetness that comes through. I'm getting a lot of that as well, and I really get some of those sweetness that you're talking about. That's nice. I love it how unique this tea
Just
is.
smell this. Don't smell the leaves. Smell the cup.
This is
Oh yeah. There's
The sweetness has like
Sweet
stayed
character to
there
it.
for like a
yeah.
good amount of time.
No, this is great. I love this part. I don't know if this is different.
I will text Alicia just to see. Oh wow, the leaves
I
are
love
beautiful
the-
as well.
Mm.
Very highly oxidized. There are some tips that have turned out to be golden, and then I think that is
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I love how it's very flattened leaves, but at the same time, it's like full leaves, really prepared. I think it's just handmade teas.
and then the color itself is
Right.
very dark.
I love it. I wonder what the original seeds or cuttings were from.
Netherlands.
That would be very interesting because the tea farms in Portugal, we might do Portugal at one point, but the tea farms in Portugal, interestingly enough, some of the tea seeds that were there are from Nepal.
Oh wow.
I'm wondering like where the tea seeds are coming from, and that would probably be a question for Linda. We'll send it to her,
But overall, like all of these teas have very less amount of stringency.
oh, absolutely, yeah. There isn't any of that. Not even the bitterness. There's very little dryness, very little astringence. This one particularly, it's crazy how
One of
the biscuity notes really comes through
One
for
of
this
the
one.
things that I've like
Amazing,
just
amazing.
looking at this, don't you guys think that either the gram when we put it in, it's we put in a little bit more on these two. Otherwise, these leaves are much more heavier, denser than these leaves.
Okay.
Or is it just me?
It seems from the amount that we see over here that these two would be a lot more. It could very well be the case. Yeah.
Just put this in your hand, like kind of try to weigh it against this. I think the leaves are, maybe it's just a cultivar or anything.
Not sure. But yeah, no, it just seems like there's way too much
In these two?
in these two, given these two. So maybe the plucking is different,
Yeah.
a little different, which could be the sense. But I love the black teas.
I love this one, and then I think for the green teas, I think this one has like a better taste
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
both
This
of
one
them
is
are,
a
like,
little more
good.
lighter.
Both of them are light-bodied and everything, but like I think the flavor profile on this is much more complete than this. But still, both of them are light. Here, I think the clear winner is this for me, just because it has that sweetness that I was not anticipating.
Held
This
for a
one is
while.
going to be much more like a simpler black tea. That woody character is just coming in. But yeah, other than that, like I love all the teas that they have.
I'm just so surprised how this tea held. The keeping quality of the tea is so good that even after 2020, like 2 years,
Uh-huh.
it feels like great tea.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. Nobody would have been
So-
able to say like, you know, this
And
is
then
like
you guys
2
can
years
complete
old.
this. I actually have a meeting where I'm doing like a tasting as well, so I'm out.
All right. Any last thoughts, Zidane, before we leave?
So definitely, I would. So for some tea people who are getting some new, I would say, people who are getting newly into teas and who do not like astringency, this is definitely something I would go for.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think these would still not be as bold, malty black teas that you'd associate with,
Right.
Assam or many parts of India and even Darjeeling to an extent. These don't have that florals that you would necessarily see in more Southeast Asian type of teas, but really have a nice, almost like these black teas. They definitely have some of those biscuity baked, nice, really notes without the florals. That kind of what separates this production in a way. And the green teas were, I'm just surprised with, you know, this high of a temperature in 5 minutes.
Right, and still it's not very bitter.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's amazingly how
Very smooth.
it resisted and held on. So this probably will be tasting even better
Right.
when
It's
in the
freshly
right
plucked.
temperature and timing.
Right.
So Linda, your plantation is amazing. We love the teas that you have for us. Thank you for sending it to us. And I know it was quite late that we did the tasting, but it's amazing. Alicia, thank you so much. We have a lot of questions for you, and thanks so much. All right, we'll see you next
See
week.
you on the next one.
All right, bye bye.